What if I don't have any research experience and the program asks me for it? Can I still apply? Can I still pursue the master program? There are universities, traditional one, bigger one, which supports students to be very academically oriented and they do research and essays and just like reading and writing, reading and writing. And secondly, there are schools which are more modern, maybe smaller, more progressive. My undergraduate program in Austria was very practically oriented. And therefore, when I was applying for master's programs, it was also quite challenging when programs were asking for some research experience. What to do with that? Firstly, we need to see if the programs actually write and ask, if you have research experience, please provide us proof of it or example. Or if the program asks exactly, you must have research experience. That's two different versions, right? First of them ask you just if you have some, please provide, and the second ask you that you must have it. From my experience, from what I've seen so far, the programs usually ask you the first option, if you have some research experience, please provide so, but if you don't have, then you have other ways to prove your worth and collect some extra points for the program. I will go with the option number one because that one is more frequent. Secondly, you need to actually consider if you have educational foundations and background to actually keep up with the topics during your master's, because very likely you will have to go through some academical research things which you have not covered in your undergraduate. So you need to be ready to keep up with the pace. However, programs usually have like extra subject on it or some introductory workshops for you to prepare to how to write essays and how to prepare publication and so on. So you don't really have to worry about that, but just be ready that you will maybe have to put extra work in comparison to your classmates who already have such experience in the academical world. And now the most important part is, if I don't have research experience and I'm still applying for some academically oriented and research oriented program, which are often like health related programs, then where can I get some extra points? You know yourself the best, you know your experiences and your profile the best, but you need to think of all the experiences and education you have gained so far. So for example, you can highlight your extra curriculum activities you dedicate a lot of time to, or you can highlight your GPA, that you have amazing grades at school, or also your work experience there where you spend a lot of time and you were managing people and you learned something. Just think of some experience, when it is volunteering, working experience or education, where you spend a lot of time and where you have some achievements which you can showcase and just highlight them even more than you would do instead if you had some research experience, for example. Those experiences should be somehow related to the program, but not always necessarily, but just highlight why you don't have the research experience. You can also include some short sentence like my university was more practically oriented and therefore I have pursued a lot of practically oriented activities during my school, but now I want to change it and I want to get some foundations, and therefore I'm applying for academically oriented program because I want to understand the topic and the industry from broader scope, and I want to get the baseline of everything. So just also try to explain what is your past and why you're changing towards something. It's all about how well you can explain it. Isn't it like with everything in life, I feel? Like, it doesn't matter if you're smart and you're not, and if you're rich or not, but it depends how much you're willing to sacrifice and how much you're willing to work for it. So that's the same with the application. And then I would also recommend you to do some networking, contact the professors, past alumni, and ask them what they studied, what they have to prepare for. And if you're in touch with the professors, you can already ask them to send you some literature or some recommendations on how to actually prepare for the program. Most likely they will send you literature, or they will tell you like, don't worry, we will go through the topics once you're admitted. Lenka, but why should I actually start studying for a program if I'm not even admitted? Then I would ask you, do you really want to study that program? Do you really want to pursue that career? Do you really want to do what you say in the motivation letter? Because when I was applying, I really was convinced that what I want to do was in the paper. I didn't make it up. It really came from bottom of my heart and from my conviction of what I want to do, and that was reflected in the motivation paper, and that's why I believe my motivation letter was strong, because it really reflected and mirrored what I really wanted and I believed in. And that's the same for you. So if you want to study something and you don't have the experience now, just go and start studying it. Just start doing something for it. And if you're not accepted this year, and you really want to do, then you can apply next year, or you can apply to different programs. But anyway, you will probably need to learn some of the basics and some of the topics which are related in the industry. That way you can start your own research, and actually it will help you to also with writing your motivation letter, because you will get more idea of what is the industry really about. And I recommend very often to include the name of the thesis you would like to dedicate as your master thesis. And if you understand a little bit more of the industry by reading and studying it thoroughly on your own, if you don't have the experience from your undergraduate, then you will understand some causalities in the industry more, and you can reflect it again in the motivation letter. Because in the motivation letter you should also highlight what you want to change or what you want to learn, and again avoiding some very vague expressions. You need to showcase that you really understand the industry, or you're willing to understand and study the industry. And last but not least, you can also go for some online courses and some online materials which are out there, and just start preparing if you don't have the experience now, and you can just like getting ready in it. However, from my personal experience, I am not so much academically obsessed, and I didn't really study it on how to write a publication, because I always knew this is not the direction I want to go. However, I wanted to study Erasmus Mundus, I wanted to get the experience from the program, but I was not so obsessed about the research experience. Let me know, by the way, if you would like to hear more about like research things and how to actually run a research, or if I should do interviews with some PhD students. If you are there and aspiring to study PhD, let me know in the comment. I will be very curious, and I could create some extra content for that. I believe this video could have clarified some of the questions regarding research and lack of experience, because those are very frequent questions when it comes to applications. I'm really looking forward to see you in the next video. Please give it a like, subscribe to this channel, because it means a lot to me, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video.